Even as credible reports begin to circulate that the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas has already been violated by one or both parties, mere days after it went into effect, Donald Trump's focus and priorities are elsewhere. He is too busy having unhinged social media meltdowns over a Time magazine cover, which is praising him, but he's pissed at the picture of him that they chose, and now he's being mocked for this meltdown. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. Okay, folks, so I want to show you first the picture, the cover of Time magazine, which is effuse in its praise. It's seeking to aggrandize Trump, to glorify Trump, to praise Trump. This is not a critical Time magazine cover. Take a look. So Time says, the living Israeli hostages held in Gaza have been freed under the first phase of Donald Trump's peace plan, alongside a Palestinian prisoner release. The deal may become a signature achievement of Trump's second term, and it could mark a strategic turning point for the Middle East. That is very effuse in its praise, right? This is from the Time magazine official account. Then you look at the cover of Time magazine. It's a picture of Trump, Time in the background, looking upward, and it says his triumph in big, bold words. His triumph. The leader Israel needed. How Gaza heals, not how Hamas heals. So this cover is very clearly pro-Trump. Perhaps too generous, one might say, with the benefit of the doubt, given how previous ceasefires in this region have failed spectacularly, even under Trump. Trump came into office with a ceasefire that he and President Biden negotiated in Biden's last days in office, that Trump's incoming team, led by Steve Witkoff, worked with the Biden administration, and they arranged for a ceasefire. It was violated. Trump failed to enforce it. This ceasefire may crumble. Again, there are credible reports that we'll get into that it's already crumbled. But Trump is instead lashing out at Time magazine, and this is what he's saying. It's stunning. He says, Time magazine wrote a relatively good story about me, but the picture may be the worst of all time. They disappeared my hair and then had floating on top of my head that looked like a floating crown, but an extremely small one. Really weird. I never liked taking pictures from underneath angles, but this is a super bad picture and deserves to be called out. What are they doing and why? This is what Donald Trump is focused on at this time. You would think that a malignant narcissist, or even just like your garden variety narcissist, would be really happy that Time magazine is giving him such a glorified cover. You would think that he would take heart in that. You would think that that would soothe him. Instead, he seems to be suggesting that Time is trying to undermine him. What are they doing and why? Why did they pick this picture? They disappeared his hair. No, his hair is thin. And from a lower vantage point with sunlight pouring through, it looks thinner still. It looks wispy, okay? That's on Trump. He's 80 years old with lacking a full head of hair. That's not Time magazine digitally altering it. You can see he talks about a crown. No, that's just the outline of your remaining hair in the sunlight. It's not meant to be an attack on you. He's also upset about his neck, as Ron Filipkowski of Midas Touch, the editor-in-chief of Midas Touch, is pointing out. They showed his neck vagina. That's what he's really upset about because, of course, if you look, and as people are mocking him for his neck here, you can't see the cursor, but they look like labia, okay? It looks vaginal. He's upset about this. It's pure vanity. It's never good enough. It's not good enough. They're trying to sabotage him. They're trying to undermine him in this big glorified cover saying his triumph. By drawing attention to my triumph, they're trying to screw me over. Really? Are you that fragile? Are you that insecure? Midas Touch again. Trump is not too pleased with the photo they use of him in Time magazine. The reactions on some of this. Let's take a look here. Here I fixed it so somebody digitally blurred out Trump's neck here. To be fair, I wondered why he was always grabbing his neck. That's a funny comment. That's like dark humor, but that's funny, making a reference to the Access Hollywood tape back in 2016. Joe from Jurors says, the old neck fupa. Trump's raging over a photo that exposes his turkey neck reality because nothing says strongman leader like whining about wrinkles while the world burns. If you look all over social media, he's getting mocked for this. And before we close the loop on this and move to, again, the credible reports that this ceasefire may have already been violated by one or both of the parties, I just really want to close the loop on Trump's narcissism here, because this is not the first time that he has been publicly dismayed and triggered by Time magazine. You may recall back in February when Elon Musk was part of the administration and was widely seen as the shadow president, right? Trump actually had to address this at a CPAC conference. It was so prevalent at the time, the perception that Musk was really the one pulling the strings and that Trump was intimidated by him, that Time magazine actually posted a cover of Elon Musk sitting behind the presidential Resolute desk, Trump's desk, right? And Trump was asked about this at the time, and I want you to listen and note his response because he's visibly depressed.
Mr. President, do you have a reaction to the new Time magazine cover that has Elon Musk sitting behind your Resolute desk?
タイムマガジンにイーロン・マスクが大統領の机の後ろで座って
You just see it. No. He's sad about it. He knows about it, and he's so upset he didn't even have a reaction for it at the time. He felt betrayed. He felt cucked, as the kids would say. He felt disrespected, as well he should, because Elon Musk was at the time running roughshod all over him. So again, Trump is obsessed with what Time magazine has to say, okay? That's why he's upset about this. Again, it's just absurd, though, given that, listen, bro, his triumph, they're actually, I would argue, they're giving you much more charity and giving you a line of credit and putting more faith in the ceasefire than quite frankly, you deserve and that history has shown. I think we should be very cautious about how much people prostrate themselves before Trump. It may work out or it may not, and that gets us to some of the credible reporting here. ABC News and other outlets. Israel-Gaza live updates. 5 Palestinians killed in Gaza City for alleged ceasefire violation, IDF says. So the IDF, the Israeli Defense Force, is saying Hamas, Palestinians have already violated the ceasefire, and then you'll see the response here from the Palestinian government in just a second. Israel on Tuesday also identified 2 of the people whose remains were returned. So let's see here. Key headlines, because again, this is the update here. I just want to do a quick update. 1,808 Palestinian detainees, 250 Palestinian prisoners released. That's very good. Again, the hostage release of this is excellent, and Trump does deserve credit for that, just as the hostage exchanges and hostage release under President Biden deserved credit as well. So this is from 6:19 Eastern Time. Okay, this is the key part. 5 Palestinians shot and killed in Gaza City, IDF says. The Israeli Defense Forces says its troops opened fire on Palestinians, killing 5 after they allegedly violated the terms of the ceasefire agreement. The IDF said that, quote, several suspects were identified crossing the yellow line and approaching IDF troops operating in the northern Gaza Strip, which constitutes a violation of the agreement. The 5 approached forces in Gaza's eastern Sajaya neighborhood, the IDF said. After multiple attempts to distance them, the suspects refused to comply, prompting troops to open fire to remove the threat, the IDF said on social media. Now, in response to this, a Palestinian civil defense spokesperson denied the IDF's claim, telling ABC News that the 5 people were killed within the safe zone yellow area. So the Palestinian civil defense spokespeople are saying, no, actually, the IDF violated the ceasefire by opening fire on Palestinian civilians who were within the proper zone, who had every right to be there. So you have credible reports where each side is accusing the other of violating the ceasefire mere days after it happens. Now, is this just will the ceasefire endure? Will this be a thing where the IDF and the Palestinian defense kind of retreat from this, and this is just the one and only dust up? I don't know, but the point is this. This is one of the reasons why I have said, as we've discussed and mentioned the ceasefire in previous videos, that while I am happy to give Trump credit for the stuff that has actually happened, like the hostage releases, the Palestinian hostages released, the Israeli hostages released, happy to give him credit there. I'm not going to give him credit for what Piers Morgan and so many other centrists and right-wingers are like, Donald Trump has accomplished peace in the Middle East. You need to give him credit for that. Bullshit. He has not. He may in the future. I suppose that's possible. I have no reason to believe that that's the probable outcome, but I'm not going to give anyone, especially Trump, credit for shit that has not happened. And already we are seeing credible reports that the ceasefire that he is trying to say, not only is it a ceasefire, it's peace between Israel and Hamas, which is not the same thing. The vast majority, the lion's share of actual enduring peace, an actual peace plan has yet to be done and historically has fallen apart. So probability is against Trump here, but even the ceasefire portion, there are credible reports that even that has been broken. So, and yet, despite all of that, he's more concerned about a Time magazine cover. What a friggin' joke. In the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.